Welcome to DMM Downloads. We are podcasting another conversation about DMM between Jeff Crabtree and me, Rudy Rivera. Jeff and I are teamed together in Northern Colorado in a ministry we call DMM NOCO. DMM NOCO is unleashing disciple-making movements in Northern Colorado, and we thought it a good idea to start a podcast as a way to bring awareness and resourcing to ordinary people who are passionate about making multiplying disciple makers in our natural networks. Thanks for joining us in this journey. We hope you get a DMM download from this conversation. Well, hey, Jeff.
Rudy.
We're back again.
We're here. How did I come up with this Rudy thing?
I don't know.
You always ask me the same question. Hello, Jeff, and I go Rudy. So anyway, that's the sidetrack.
It's true.
You're
it's
Rudy to me.
I think, you've just fallen into that.
Two times that means emphasis. You're extra special to me, Rudy. Rudy.
Well, hey, Jeff. Yeah, there you go. That's good. I like it. I don't know. I've had a lot of nicknames in my life, but I really like that one. It feels very loved. So
there you go.
Yeah. So hey guys, we're back for another DMM download, and we thought it could be good to download a little bit of prep, like a prep episode here, as we've been kind of saying we're headed to Chicago for a conference with a ministry called New Generations, and we're going to go attend that conference and hopefully gain a lot of insight, a lot of good things here for Northern Colorado. But we just thought it could be good to kind of prep that because we're kind of teasing a bit here what we hope to become a mini series within the DMM downloads. And I'm just going to call it now. We'll see if it actually happens. We're going to call it Movement Leaders. And they're going to basically give us downloads, these movement leaders from around North America and the world. So Jeff, prep us. What are we up for in the next couple of weeks here?
Yeah, we are going to a conference in Chicago with a group that I work with, and you're working with, if you would.
Through you.
It's really formal. It's called New Generations. Mm-hmm. It's a global ministry catalyzing disciple-making movements everywhere, 60, 70, 80 nations. So we're all targeting North America. A lot of these movements Book of Acts movements are going on in different parts of the world, but obviously we're North American people. We want to see it in our space and in our area. So we're going to Chicago. We're going to have a conference where we're going to have some guest speakers who are going to speak into the movement world, into us and download, and then we'll have some workshops and we'll have some tracks for all to learn, and we'll be the North American family of movement people. And so we're heading up there, and we just thought, wow, how could we maybe allow some of our listeners to not be there, but to catch what's going on there and get some of these major DMM leaders to download. So it's not just you and me. We're growing, we're maturing, we're expanding. And so maybe the people that are listening will be glad to jump on in coming weeks and hear from some major movement leaders in North America and even global leaders that have been doing it for 30 years or more.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to that, and also just going there with you, Jeff. And maybe a quick side note for me, when you and I went to a similar conference a couple of years back, I remember showing up, and I'm not officially with New Generations, but I remember the conference was so small at that time. One of the volunteers there said, "Hey, can you put together these signs and then tell the people that are coming where to go?" And I'm like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know who was who or where to go, but I could hold a sign that pointed an arrow to the right, And so I jump in and just sort of roll up my sleeves and kind of try to help out. And now then fast forward a couple of years, and now that conference was like couple hundred people in the room praying and talking about movement in North America, and I think most of the states in America were represented.
It's growing. Again, movement is a kind of a new model of gospeling in a Western culture, and it's expanding. I think I mentioned to you when I got involved with movement 8+ years ago, pretty small, not not a lot of expression around the country, and now it's spread pretty rapidly. So probably most of the states, and again, up in our brothers and sisters in dear Canada
And Mexico.
and Mexico down there, we have some people who are working in Mexico and have some connections in Canada. So it's growing in North America.
Yeah, yeah. And so while we're there, we're aiming to do some DMM download podcasting. And so we're hoping, in fact, I think it's more than a hope at this point. You've confirmed that Roy Moran is going to come on as a guest of ours. And so I thought it would be good if Jeff could kind of share a little bit more about who Roy is and, why we're having him on this podcast. And then we're hoping to also get some other movement leaders to come on the podcast while we're there. So anyhow, Jeff, tell us a little bit more about your relationship with Roy.
Yeah, a gentleman by the name of Roy Moran. God used him in my life to help me kind of pivot from church as we know it world to a movement world. So to have him on as our first guest is really special to me because God used him to help me get him immersed, baptized in the movement world. Roy is a pastor in Kansas City, Missouri. I think it's actually Liberty, if you're around that area, a Shoal Creek Community Church. And at the time when I first met him, he was the chairman of the board of an international group called Beyond, which is based out of Richardson, Texas. He's then transitioned to the board of directors for a group called New Generations. And so I was involved. I met him in Beyond, and I'm with New Generations. But Roy knows a lot about the movement world. He's interfaced with some of these dear brothers and sisters around the world who've been the catalytic people that have brought, if you will, disciple-making movements or church-planting movements to their spheres of influence in different countries. So, I don't know what else to say. Roy will introduce himself a little bit, but because of my history with Roy, to have him on as our first guest at DM Downloads is just extra special for me.
Yeah, and I can say the same. I don't know him as well as you do, but I've got a chance to hang out with Roy some, and actually my friend Matt Moore, shout out to Matt, really loves Roy. He's always like saying, man, Roy's so cool. But anyhow, looking forward to getting a chance to see Roy this time and then get him on the download, or the podcast, which is really cool. I know for me, his book is super helpful, and you referenced that last time, Spent Matches. And then also, I think he's to me, he seems like have a knack for being really targeted and focused on the work. So, he can do lots of things, right? And lots of interests and lots of abilities and has lots of experience. But I know when I've shared kind of my version of DMM and kind of the struggles I have or what I'm thinking about, he's done a good job of just keep bringing it back, really focused into another step or a step. And I really appreciate that because I can be kind of scattered and like, well, that's not working. Let's try this or let's try that or whatever. And he's just been able to kind of just go, nope, do this. And not telling me exactly what to do, but principally speaking. And then I think, wow, that's really helpful to just stay focused in the areas that he's mentioned. So I don't know if you have something to say there.
Well, yeah, and I do appreciate we're all wired differently, and Roy doesn't miss words.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's exactly what you're kind of saying, so. But I can ramble and maybe not say as much as I'd like. But Roy, when he talks to you, it's going to be very clear, very direct. And you'll want to listen because he will give you nuggets and thoughts and downloads that, at least in my life, have been what he said has helped lay in the foundation for me to learn and to grow in the movement world. So obviously, yeah, I love to, if I could put it this way, love to sit at his feet and just ask him questions and very distinctly share with me what I need to hear. And so it's not flowery, it's not couched up anyway. It's just you get what you get, and it's I love that from him.
Yeah, I think that's a better way of saying what I was trying to say. So yeah, really well said. Okay, so even as we sort of move towards ending this download, anything else you'd want to say about the conference or maybe movement leaders as we try to interface them at this conference.
Yeah,
Because we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to get people on the mic, giving us downloads from different parts of the country, maybe even different parts of the world. So, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah,
Jeff.
Rudy, I think I'm very humbled that when I got introduced to the movement world through a group called Beyond, as we mentioned, and then I pivoted to New Generations, that we're not alone here in Northern Colorado, not you and me. I mean, we're tied to other movement leaders in North America. We're tied to movement leaders around the world. And so I'm humbled that I don't feel like I'm just here stuck in Northern Colorado and I don't know anybody. And so we're excited that those are listening to our podcast, that we're going to get to take you to the center of a lot of activity where movement leaders from around the world and people who are looking in, researching, trying to tiptoe into disciple-making movements, they're going to be in one space. It'll be catalytic, it'll be excitement, it'll be encouraging. And so I'm just excited that we're going to be able to be there and get some interviews from some major movement leaders. And as we talked, maybe just going around with these 250 or 300 people that'll be there and just say, hey, what are you learning? Who are you? And we're from Northern Colorado, so we think the people will really love listening to some of our podcasts in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, so make sure you keep listening. Subscribe to the podcast if you're new here, and maybe even do the alerts and all that, so you can kind of get the latest update as we update them. What we're going to try to do here in the coming weeks, Jeff and I are both taking vacations, and so we may miss a week somewhere in here. We'll see how that goes, but we will pick things back up in Chicago, Lord willing, and we'll record, and then we'll try to release even while we're there and kind of give you a peek into the conference. I'll also say that as we kind of start to talk to people, I want to kind of share a story from my experience the last conference, because I think it's just so profound that we were all together. When I first got introduced to the movement, one of the first things I did was contact a friend of mine who has been an overseas missionary in Southeast Asia for many, many years. And I just asked him, I've mentioned this before, but I asked him, like, tell me about DMM. And he said, oh, it's great. But the big question is, why isn't it working in North America? And I'll tell you guys, if you're listening, I'll tell you, was it last year we were in Phoenix?
Yeah.
So it's been a year. Wow. We were in Phoenix together, and the last day of the conference, maybe about 125, 150 of us stood up together. And I would just want to say committed together to praying and believing God wants to do this in North America, that he wants to turn the story of the church around in North America, and he wants to reach the lost through the church in America. That, in other words, the days of why isn't it working in North America will be in the past. And it's not that it's a system or an idea, it's the heart of God for the lost. And so I am very much looking forward to going back there, in part, I think, Jeff, to see the fruit of that prayer by faith last year, and to hear more stories of people in like rural Texas and rural Alabama and big city New York, and people coming together from all walks of life in North America to say, we're believing God that he wants to do something new in North America again. And that, maybe more than anything, is what I'm looking forward to. And so we're hoping to bring you those stories from that conference. That's our intention, guys. If we don't, it's because I got a technical difficulty or something like that. But that's the aim. Jeff, land the plane for us, bro, as we close out.
Yeah, I love your story. We're all growing. We're lifelong learners. And so we're excited to go in that space where we're going to be interfacing and collaborating with other people. And then we want to be able to pass it on to you, our listeners. So anyway, thanks for listening. And then you're going to get some downloads from Chicago.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Jeff, for that engaging download. In DMM, we like to say that disciples are learners. I know I'm learning a lot from my conversations with you, Jeff. From all of us in DMM NoCo, we hope you got a DMM download from the conversation today. Don't forget to leave this podcast a review wherever you are listening online. If you found this conversation helpful, please head over to our site, dmmnoco.com, where you can find more content for your DMM journey, including a self-paced Habits of a Multiplying Disciple course. The course is designed to give you practical next steps to becoming a DMM practitioner and multiplying disciple maker. You can take that course for free at dmmnoco.com. We will be back next week with another engaging DMM download episode. Until then, may you hear from God through His Spirit and take simple steps of obedience in what you hear.